Mexico is I think we are live. Let us know if you can hear us. Yes, we are live. Yeah, we hear so many people asking about Mexico and if it's the right alternative place to go when all this madness going on in the world. And this video is, since we are here for almost 2 months, we're gonna share with you our experience and what we have experienced and witnessed here and why we think this might be a good place for you. So stay tuned, and if you can hear us well, let us know in the comments, and give this video a like. That will help many of our followers get notified about it. And yeah, can I start?
So we stayed 6 months in Ecuador before we came here, and we wanted to stay there initially. Our plan was to buy land in Ecuador, so we were really looking, and we left to visit our families in Europe. And meanwhile, the country had closed its borders to all non-vaccinated.
Yeah. So there was a sign for us to, okay, if it's like this for now, how it's going to be in the future. And we had like some also red alert or like red flags and about Ecuador, especially that Ecuador is the embassy where had give up on some of the most active or like the most known politic activism, the founder of WikiLeaks, and give it up to the UK government, where they at the end send it back to send him.
I keep saying it.
Send him back to the USA, where he get arrested and facing I think life sentence in the prison.
Yeah, so we had kind of had many signals from the universe that we should go to Mexico, and we kind of ignored it first because we had this idea of no, we want to be in Ecuador. And eventually, when we couldn't go to Ecuador anymore, we said, you know what, let's just do it. And it was so beautiful to enter the country. You don't need anything. It was like the old good days, you know, where you don't need any extra tests or papers or
it was really interesting. Like even in the airport, the travel agency was like, "Oh, you don't have a passport, like this QR thing?" And I was like, "No, I don't need it." And she was like so surprised. She was checking the system. It was like, "Oh yeah, actually you don't need it." And it's like, "Yeah, this is how it should be. Like, you know, we are still human. We are not dangerous weapons that threaten health." And there was like a really nice start, and even like start in the airplane. Like I looked around, all passengers there, or most of them at least, they had like really interesting way of dressing up. They looked more unique. Many of them had like, I saw many people had like tattoos and like
flower of life
tattoos and rings and all these things. I was like, wow, we are really traveling with interesting people. And as soon as we arrived here in Mexico, we're a bit like surprised, because comparing to Sweden, for example, where we see almost nobody was wearing a face suffocator, in Mexico many people wear. And I was like, okay, is it like really as free as we thought? So we're like a bit surprised at the beginning, but then I feel like the culture here had like a really embraced some of the measures, because they kind of like easygoing and they don't want to make trouble. And but on the other hand, there is a lot of rebellion. So we're gonna talk about this in the other part of the stream.
So what I noticed immediately is that the vibe is totally different here. You know, like also in Ecuador, it was very easygoing, especially in Vilcabamba. It's as if the sea didn't exist. But in Europe, it's getting quite, in some countries, it can be quite suffocating. So here, on the other hand, there is this energy of something big is happening. Especially once you start meeting other people who have relocated here, who are planning to do their projects, who are really taking action to say, you know what, I'm going to go off grid. I'm going to create my own community. I'm going to create a parallel society. Like you can feel that kind of like, there's like this energy of something big is being created.
If you just look and work away, you find so many projects. Like we were looking like, okay, we want to see communities. So we're like looking, Workaway, by the way, is a really good website where to see like many new community forming where they want volunteers. So there was huge amount of community, huge amount of project asking for people to come and help. So that was like a really great indicator for us to see like how active is the alternative communities here. And in Mexico, it's super easy to start off-grid. Like in Europe, we had this law where you can't actually build anything that's not like any new house or any new structure that it was not there. So in Mexico, this is not there. So you can basically create your structure in anywhere. Of course, our intention is to respect the land and not to cut tree, but that allow us to create something in the middle of nowhere and have this autonomy and have this being secluded from.
Just build whatever you like.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
You can be creative.
Yeah.
You know, I think this vibe is what many people feel. Many people, people who are looking for alternative lifestyles, you know, they feel drawn to here, even if they don't really know what's going on, because of that energy. It's like, it's like, because you can, when you're intuitive, you can feel it. Yeah. There's something going on. I need to be there. It's like following your intuition.
Yeah, and so far we've been to 2 big events. The first one was the Greater Reset in Morelia, which was amazing. There was like several hundred people were there. And I shared about it in the live stream. You can go check it out for more details. But basically, it was like amazing hub and vortex for like people who want to co-create. And right now we are in Acapulco, which is also another alternative event taking place here. And we're hosting our events and sharing our medicine. So we did yesterday authentic relating in one of the music festival, and we're gonna have vegan potluck coming soon, and later we'll have a authentic relating workshop, and after that will be singing service. So it feels like there is a lot of need and demand on like authenticity workshops, authenticity education, where people really want to connect to each other, want to create from the heart, create from a different setting. And this is one reason why we feel called to be here. And if you're resonating with our message, maybe this is somewhere where you can consider to come in the future.
Yeah, by the way, we don't know if we're going to end up staying here. We're not saying that because we really don't know at the moment. We're just following wherever spirit tells us to go, wherever our intuition tells us to go. And it might be that we end up staying here, or it might not. But for the time being, there's definitely something here why, you know, there's a reason why we're here.
Yeah.
And something I think that is really unique and beautiful about Mexico is that the indigenous people here have not lost their spirit of sovereignty. There are some villages, for example, in Michoacan, there is the tribe from Purapechas, it's an indigenous tribe, who have kicked out the military, the police, and the drug cartel from their village, and they have established an autonomous governance. And this is something that I could not comprehend that someone could do this in Europe.
Yeah.
And like you just have to have such a strength of spirit, courage,
and sense of community. Yeah, like we haven't visited it; it's still on our list. But we met people who went there and lived with them for a few weeks and months, and like it's amazing. Like their lifestyle is completely different. It's completely interconnected together, so they can like come together and say no to all this tyranny, and like it's literally amazing to be there and observe the spirit and like take in these vibes.
And they're not the only ones. There are apparently 20 other villages who are in the process of doing the same.
Yeah.
And in Chiapas, in the more closer to Guatemala, there is a big population of Zapatistas, and they are very famous for, you know, rising up for their rights, attempting to take back their sovereignty. And the government actually has been quite brutal against them, and now they have a big military presence there, trying to keep them, you know, in their place.
The statistics said they replaced 70% of the military of Mexico in that area just to smash any uprising. But that shows how the government is really scared of this.
Yeah, so yes, there is maybe more. They are less delicate here about things like that. Like in Europe, the government would probably make it look like they are not against anyone. They are more sophisticated in some ways. But here you see more obviously what's going on.
Although we saw a lot of violence, like in Germany, there was brutal violence, and in France also there was like really brutal violence against demonstrators.
Yeah. Well, like this gives me a lot of hope that there is this grassroots movement of people just coming together, and the Indigenous are leading that, and I think we can learn a lot from them. If we as like foreigners who come to this country to set up our communities, we can work together with the natives of this land and to learn from them and to get some of that spark, you know, and of course we bring our own gifts as well. So it's like a beautiful place for the eagle and the condor to fly together again, as they say in the old prophecy, you know, where the north and the south, or the indigenous and the westerners can come together and work together. And this is my hope and my vision. Yeah, and part of the vision is to create like a multicolored tribe. And we saw this actually here. We saw people from all different countries. Like it's such an amazing mix. So yeah, it's really beautiful. And if you have any question about Mexico, about our lifestyle here or event we are doing, please write it in the comment, and we will make time at the end of this video to answer all of your comments. Yeah. Yeah, so this gives me like a sense of like courage in myself to say, okay, if I have so many people who are on the same path in this place, it gives me this sense of I can stand for my rights and for my, you know, what I know to be right in integrity, because I'm not alone. And we've seen that it has worked here before with the Purepechas. Yeah. And also like for our friends who are still maybe in Europe or North America, like when we were living in the city, like in Berlin, we had such a like down feeling, like there is a lot of hopelessness and things are forming and things out of control, and like we can't do anything about this agenda. And yeah, it feels like a very hopeless state to be like when we're in Berlin comparing to when we are here right now. And I really want to invite you guys to go out of this bubble and see that what's been creating here is different, and it can create like a blueprint, and see when civilization is not happy there, when people are more and more depressed, you can see that there's alternative. There's people are doing something and being aligned with our mission here on Earth, which is like, I believe, to be coming back to nature and living in harmony with the planet, with Earth, with air, with water, with everything. There is a beautiful prophecy that I did a bioconstruction workshop, and the instructor shared a very beautiful prophecy. It's from when the conquistadores, so the how do you say this? The colonizers came and killed a lot of the indigenous and destroyed their culture. That they said, we will come back in 500 years in different clothes and different skins. So I imagine that many of the people who are drawn to relocate here might actually be the souls of those beings who are now coming back to this land, because now it's the time of the prophecy, that now is the ripe moment to take back, you know, our rights as humanity. Take the land, not even take the land back because it doesn't belong to us, but to protect the land. You become the stewards of the land once again and restore harmony and human integrity and the spiritual gifts, to reclaim our spiritual gifts and nature that we've been disconnected from. Really well said. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see what. We can take a look at the questions. Looks like Pancho Villa and Pancho. All right. Hey, Mark. Good to have you with us. I'm saying, yeah, Ecuador embassy arrested Julian. This is what I. For money from the IMF to get in more debt. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any question, guys, let us know in the comments and we will answer it at the end of the video. And yeah, like I feel the message of this video is just to give you like a perspective of, and this is what I experienced in my life in Syria. Like back then in 2012, 13 and 14, it started to be like things are collapsing and there is no way out of it.
And just like moving outside of Syria, I feel like, wow, there is a lot of hope, a lot of things happening, for a lot of things changing for the better around us. And if you are living in a place where there's a lot of restriction, where there's a lot of things you see going wrong, that's not the end of the world. There is, like, in the same time, a lot of projects, amazing alternative communities are building. So if you want to be part of that, you just need to maybe take a moment to go out of your bubble and look and feel, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of.
And there is so much empowerment in these communities, you know, and a sense of love. And once you get out of the bubble of fear, your reality can shift altogether. And even though the same reality still exists out there, it's like you don't need to live in a state of fear. It's just this day to day, you know, doing what you love, being around people that you love, creating something new together. And if one day something happens that threatens our lives, then we face that. But it's not something we need to worry about. We need to focus now on what we want to create. And there is time for everything. When we want to do inner work to really create something, we need to, of course, look at the shadow. What is it that is holding us back? But we need to not forget about the focus. You know, if we just stay in this, oh, now I have this negative emotion, and now what is this belief I have? We can get wrapped up in our own shadow. And what we need to remember, what I've been reminded so strongly here, is to remember to focus, to move forward, to envision what we want to create, and to go towards that no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah, that's well said. Since we don't have more questions, we're gonna say we love you guys, and we hope to see you in the next live stream. And stay tuned for more amazing experience. We are collecting some videos here and there, and we're gonna maybe make a short video later about our life in Mexico. And yeah, stay tuned. Join our Telegram channel to see more update of what we're doing and our workshop. And sending you a lot of love.
Yes, I invite you to go out of the bubble and to see what's happening and to focus on what you want to create, because you can create absolutely for yourself and the people around you exactly what you want.
Yeah. Before we go, there is a question from Mark asking about property sale. It's Mexico is such a huge place, so we didn't really go to the details, but you can find something from 50,000 up to 300,000 depending where and the condition of it, and there is a lot of land.
There is a lot of land for sale, and you can definitely buy land as a foreigner. There are certain like, how do you say, criteria, but it's many people have bought land here as foreigners. And the price varies a lot based on the area.
How far from city?
How far from the city. If it's a popular area for growing industrial food, like Morelia. So that area is very expensive. But I think if you go somewhere to Veracruz or to Chiapas, you can find very affordable land. It's a more like a native area, not as maybe industrialized.
So thank you for being with us today, and have a beautiful week. Ciao.